8 cryptocurrency exchanges that I hope will work for you, at least one of them in any country in the world. What I'll do first is just show you the websites right here like this, and then I'll show you a little bit more detail about each one. If you haven't heard of these websites before, I recommend taking a look at them yourself and maybe sign up for an account and see if you can deposit using what they offer. I hope this will give you insight as to which ones are worth using. To me, the top two, and this is just from my personal experience, are Coinbase.com and Bitstamp.net. Between these two, you should be able, especially if you can make a wire transfer, an ACH transfer, I think it's a SEPA transfer in Europe, you should be able to buy Bitcoin on either of these. Coinbase is available in 30 plus countries. I think Bitstamp.net you can use in most of the world if you can make a wire transfer over there. I'll show you more about that in a minute. Kraken.com and GDAX.com may also work for you, as well as Gemini.com and XBTCE.com. Finally, you have localbitcoins.com and wallofcoins.com. Now, these two are significantly different than the first 6. The first 6, Coinbase, Bitstamp, Kraken, GDAX, Gemini, and XBTC, these all require that you basically set up an account online and make some kind of bank transfer to them. Or you can, if you've already got Bitcoin or other currencies, you can just deposit that. Now, local Bitcoins and Wall of Coins, these you can actually use cash out of your wallet to go make a deposit with Wall of Coins directly into someone's bank account. And with local Bitcoins, you can interact directly with other sellers. If you can't use any of these first 6, I highly recommend figuring out if you can use one of these first 6, because these are the best ways to buy Bitcoin online with fiat. However, if you can't use any of those, you may be able to use local Bitcoins or Wall of Coins. Now, once we've got Bitcoin, then what you want to do to buy an altcoin, you can either use Bitrex.com, which is currently my favorite, or it could be BitTrex.com or Byte, whatever. And then Poloniex.com is the one I've used the most. So once you've bought Bitcoin on one of these other 8 websites, you can then buy into all these other currencies. If you're excited about Ethereum, Litecoin, Steem, or Dash, or what new economy movement, whatever you're excited about, you can get into that easily on Bitrex and Poloniex. With these other websites are consistently adding more as well. So that's the basic how do you get started. That's the basic list right there. What I'll do now is give you a more in-depth look at each of these different websites that I hope will be helpful if you've never heard of several of them or you want to see where they work potentially for you. The number one website I've used personally is Coinbase.com. There's a link to this on my resources page, and I'm grateful, as you can see here, 177 people have signed up for Coinbase through my link and actually bought at least or sold at least $100 of Bitcoin. If you go to my resources page on my website and you want to sign up for Coinbase, would you please use that link there, because Coinbase gives you and I, each of us, $10 in Bitcoin when you sign up using my link. Coinbase is what I've used to buy and sell over $100,000 of Bitcoin because it's really fast. All I do, I go into the dashboard, I can buy and sell. Now, Coinbase charges a 1% fee. Coinbase also allows me to make ACH transfers with no fee directly back and forth between my bank account. Coinbase also accepts wire transfers. Now, the main problem with Coinbase is that it's not available everywhere, and features may be limited by your country. Now, the nice thing is, if you're in Australia, a lot of websites, it can be tough if you're in Australia to buy in. If you're in Australia, you can buy in. I'll minimize my head here so you can see it. You can buy in Australia with a debit or credit card, supposedly. Now, these may not actually work for you, which is why I encourage test out different websites. In Singapore, Coinbase is available. In most of Europe, Coinbase is available. Australia, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Jersey, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Malta, Monaco, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, San Marino, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, and United Kingdom. These are all available. In Europe, you can use your bank account, deposit with a credit debit card. You can also, I think, at least according to their website, you can use a credit or debit card to buy in Canada. However, I recommend against Coinbase in Canada because there are better options available elsewhere. Now, in the United States, you can use your PayPal account. You can deposit with your bank account and withdraw. It's very easy. You can also use a credit or debit card, and that's where I'm located. Now, if you don't like the look of Coinbase, it's not available in your country, the second option, or if you're in Europe, I recommend using Bitstamp.net. Bitstamp.net, the fees are lower than Coinbase, and Bitstamp.net seems to be based in the UK. So I recommend if you're in Europe, I think Bitstamp.net's a great option. And it says rest of the world here on their wire transfer. Now, the basic thing you need to be able to do to buy Bitcoin with one of the 6 websites I showed you up here. Now, Coinbase and Bitstamp both have other payment options, but with most of these others, you really need to be able to do a wire transfer from your bank. And if you're in a country that's, for example, if you're in Malaysia, you will need to be able to do a international wire transfer. And in Bitstamp, you should be able to just wire any currency you want to Bitstamp. They have the option to register an account all over the world. You should, now I don't know if I'm correct for your specific country, but you should be able to wire almost any currency straight to Bitstamp according to their deposit instructions. If you read their deposit instructions, it says international bank transfer deposits, US dollars won't be, all other currencies will be converted to the selected balance currency. This means you should be able to wire from almost any country in the world straight to Bitstamp.net and then get your deposit on there. Bitstamp is extremely fast to buy and sell. I tried to sell, long story short, I transferred $130,000 in transactions in one day when I sold my Dash Masternode, and it went through incredibly quick and easy to do. Bitstamp.net is outstanding for buying Bitcoin, and I think in almost any country in the world you should be able to do an international bank transfer with a pretty low fee and then get that credited to your account. So I think Bitstamp.net, if you're not in somewhere like the US that's listed on Coinbase, basically if you're in the US, it's pretty easy to buy Bitcoin on lots of different websites. If you're in the rest of the world, you're not in the US or Europe, this should work good for you. Now, would you please comment if I'm wrong to help other people learn whether it's available in your specific country or not. The cool thing is you can actually use your credit card, at least in the US where I'm at. I think in many other countries in the world, you can even use your credit card on Bitstamp.net. Now the fee is big. So if I drop a $5,000 purchase on my credit card, that's a $250 fee. Ouch. And then what if you buy it and the price goes down? That's even worse. But sure, you could buy it at 5% and the price could go up 20% and it might be worth it. Still, you should be able to use Bitstamp.net to drop it straight on your credit card, which I think is outstanding. Now, if you don't have cash in the bank and you're going to just put it on a credit card, I'd highly recommend against that. However, I trust your judgment. Maybe you can make something good out of it. So to me, the top two options, these are the top two options in my mind to buy Bitcoin with fiat currency online. Coinbase.com, really easy to use, available in 30 or something countries, and Bitstamp.net. If I had to just rank one, I'd probably say Bitstamp.net is the top globally, and in the US, Coinbase is extremely convenient for me personally. Now, I highly recommend check out both of these first. Coinbase or Bitstamp, or if you've already used them and you want something else, then there are more options. However, these tend to be a bit more limited than Coinbase and Bitstamp. Now, you should be able, in lots of different areas, to buy onto Kraken as well. So Kraken, you can do a very same type of deposits as Bitstamp. You can use a SEPA deposit if you're in Europe, and that's free. You can use a bank wire out of the US. You can do a bank wire in Europe. You can do a US dollar bank wire deposit outside the US, or you can even do Japanese yen. If you're in Canada, you can do a Canadian wire deposit for free. You can also withdraw straight in these methods as well. So Kraken, again though, you need to be able to do a wire deposit anywhere except Europe to get onto Kraken, if I'm reading this correctly, although you may be able to do a Japanese yen bank deposit straight on there. So Kraken and Bitstamp, between the two of those, you hopefully, in whatever country you're in, if you should be able to buy in using one of those two, and the fees are pretty good. On Kraken, you've got some more possibilities you can trade as well. Kraken, out of these websites, has a big option, has a lot of different currencies you can buy. So Bitstamp right now, you can only buy Ripple and Bitcoin with your fiat currency. On Coinbase, you can only currently buy Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Kraken is one of the few where you can make a deposit, and it looks like you can do it for most of the world. And then there's a lot of trading pairs. You can go Dash, Ethereum Classic, Ethereum, and there's several other things you can trade straight on Kraken as well, which might eliminate the step of going to sign up also on Bittrex or Poloniex to give you the ability to trade a lot more of these different cryptocurrencies on here. So Kraken is a great option if you want to give that a test also. If you don't know what an international bank wire transfer is and that sounds intimidating, look into it. Just go to your bank, ask how you do it, Google it online. You want to be able to do an international bank wire transfer. If you want to buy Bitcoin online, I think it's a little more effort than using your debit card. Yes, the fees are a little bit higher, but you gain access with the wire transfer to be able to put deposits on some of these that don't take debit cards. GDAX.com, which is spelled out GDAX.com. Now, GDAX.com is in the US. It has Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. GDAX is basically it's connected well with Coinbase. I'm not sure if they own it or it's a partner somehow, but it's basically like an extension of Coinbase. In terms of the countries it works in are very similar to the ones that it works in for Coinbase. You can send a wire transfer into GDAX. You can also deposit with ACH or SEPA on GDAX as well, and then you can withdraw up to $10,000 a day on it. So you can deposit on GDAX. However, just like Coinbase, it doesn't work in Canada. It does work in Europe, and it does work in the UK, but Australia and Singapore have limited trading functionality as well. So GDAX is another option. Then there's another website, and I hadn't heard of this until I just researched it today. It's called Gemini.com. So it's Gemini.com. Gemini.com works in Hong Kong and South Korea also. So if you're in one of those countries, specifically Hong Kong or South Korea, you might be interested in making a deposit through Gemini instead of using one of the other websites. Hong Kong, South Korea, Singapore is also on here, the United Kingdom and Puerto Rico, as well as Canada and the United States. So on Gemini, you can buy in with US dollars in Canada. I hope they'd support Canadian dollars, but maybe they just do Bitcoin US dollars on everything. It looks like they just do Bitcoin US dollars on everything, but here you can buy in the US as well as Canada, Hong Kong, Singapore, and South Korea on Gemini. So that looks good to me. Now there's also XBTCE, which it has a knowledge base in Russian as well as these others. So you'd hope with the knowledge base in Russian you could buy in if you were in Russian. And I think this might be, I'm not sure if that's Japanese or Chinese, but whatever this language is here is supported. Here, let me just click on this and see what, yeah, that, let's take a look. Chinese, yes, all right, Chinese. There we go. I think that was my first guess. I might have said Japanese. So you'd hope with support documents in Russian and Chinese, they'd be able to get Russian and Chinese customers on board. On btce.com, it's basically, they've got listed here wire transfer and perfect money. So these, they also have they have FasaPay, and they have that listed on there as well. But basically, this looks like you're going to need to be able to make wire transfer as well. However, it says deposit via the option. It says profit can also be withdrawn by wire transfer. Deposit via this option was the largest, whatever that means. So XBTCE might work for you as well. And that's a basic coverage. These are 6 websites. These are 6 websites where you can essentially deal straight with the exchange. And in terms of getting the best price, that is what you want. Now, the next 2 websites I'm going to give you, so I'll go back over these real quick. Tell them what you told them. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them. So Coinbase and Bitstamp.net are my 2 top choices. Kraken and GDAX and Gemini and XBTCE also look like excellent options. You have to deal with individual sellers essentially. Now, I've used Wall of Coins on over $40,000 or $50,000 of Bitcoin transactions on Wall of Coins. I have a course on my website that shows how I use Wall of Coins to buy Bitcoin and then sell it marked up 10%, and you'll see why I can do that in a minute. Now, I also got my bank account closed because I did too many transactions for too high of a dollar amount doing this. So if you want to do that successfully, you want to do it on a smaller dollar amount. So Wall of Coins allows you to buy Bitcoin directly from other sellers. This currently works in the US, and it may have functionality in your country. Just try it out, see if there's any accounts available in your country. If not, then it doesn't work for you. Wall of Coins is nice because you can use cash directly from your wallet, and I know the owner of Wall of Coins. I also have I think I have a 0.5% ownership in the company as well, so it's important to disclose that up front here. I've used Wall of Coins to buy and sell about 50,000 or so of Bitcoin, mostly sell. What I would do is buy Bitcoin on some of these other websites, put it for sale on Wall of Coins, mark it up. There's essentially a convenience fee that you get. There's a convenience fee for being able to pay directly in cash. As you can see, many of these other options like Coinbase, Bitstamp, they can have wire transfer fees, and my dog's grooming herself like crazy. I can't take it. Yeah, go back out in the house and groom yourself somewhere else. All I'm hearing is I gotta start grooming. Yeah, maybe my arm hairs aren't all straight. Jerry, you need to edit this. This sucks. That's real. This is real. This is this is my real life. So I've used Wall of Coins. If you can buy Bitcoin on other websites, all right, Jerry, how does Wall of Coins work? I'm getting lost, man. Okay, Wall of Coins works as a seller. You sign up and connect your bank account to Wall of Coins. You then deposit your Bitcoin, and I think they have Dash available now as well. You deposit that on Wall of Coins. Buyers come along and make cash deposits in your bank account. And then once you confirm the deposit, then Wall of Coins gives the buyer their Bitcoin or Dash, and you've already got the cash deposit in your bank account. Now, if you do this on small amounts, buy $180 or less at once, this can work really well. The banks typically aren't that interested in smaller deposits. Now, where I went wrong, I was taking $2,000+ deposits at once, and the banks get kind of curious as to why people all over the country are making huge cash deposits into your bank account all at once. I sold more than $10,000 in 2 or 3 weeks, and then my bank flipped and just closed my account. So this is a great fast way to buy some Bitcoin online if you want to directly deposit cash into a bank account in the US. And I like it because, Wall of Coins has the Bitcoin then. You don't have to deal directly with the seller using Wall of Coins. Now, if you're in the US, then this might work really good for you. However, if you're not in the US, you're like, okay, I can't buy anything on it. Now, another option is localbitcoins.com. Now, please, would you continue to watch through this? I'll mention some problems at the end. First, the opportunity. Localbitcoins.com, you have 248 countries on here currently where you can buy and sell Bitcoin near you. Now, if you are having a hard time with using these other websites, I do not recommend using Local Bitcoins or Wall of Coins if you can use one of these others. Yes, these take more effort to set up. It might be real easy to just go give someone $100 in cash somewhere and buy it, but it's much better to get Coinbase, get one of these set up if you can. But if you can't, these are really good options. Now with these, they each have different payment methods, and you need to be aware of the exact terms and conditions. I've never used Local Bitcoins before, so you may have other issues with it. However, I'll give you the setup simply. What you can do on Local Bitcoins is you can go transact with a seller near you who has Bitcoin, and then buy the Bitcoin directly from them. Now, there's all kinds of things that you could potentially go wrong with this. However, Local Bitcoin seems to do a good job. They've got feedback ratings on here, and you can see how much sellers have done. For example, this one is a cash deposit to a specific bank. You can look at this seller. You can see how long it takes them. You can see the confirmed trades. You can see the feedback score. You can see all these things verified on here. So what you do essentially is pick a local seller and the price you pay per Bitcoin. Now, you're likely to get some marked up prices on these because you're essentially paying a cash convenience fee. So I'm guessing, I don't know the Canadian dollars off the top of my head, so let me just find out. US to Canadian. All right, so let's see how much a Bitcoin is right now, 2,200. So let's put 2,230. Okay, so right now, you can get, if you're on Coinbase, you could buy Bitcoin for about not in Canada. If you use Canadian dollars on something like Bitstamp, you could buy for about 3,000 Canadian dollars. You'll see the lowest price is 3,400 Canadian dollars for Bitcoin. That means you're paying a significant, as with my course that I showed on here, buy and sell 10%. You can do the same thing on Local Bitcoin. You can essentially buy a bunch of Bitcoin on one of these other websites and sell it on Local Bitcoin at a 10+% markup. You'll see this is currently about a 13 to 15% markup here. So Local Bitcoins, if you can't use one of the other methods, will give you the chance to buy in, but you're likely to pay a premium for dealing directly with another seller. Now, this might be a really good opportunity also to use Local Bitcoins if you can buy on Bitstamp, for example. If you can go buy $10,000 of Bitcoin with a wire transfer on Bitstamp, you could then probably sell it for $11,000 on Local Bitcoins. And I would imagine that's what most of the sellers are doing on Local Bitcoins. So this is a really good opportunity. You can buy them online in Canada, or you can meet directly with another seller. meet them in person and buy cash. So there's different sellers. They take things like PayPal. There's all kinds of different options. So if you explore on Local Bitcoins, you can figure out what's the best for you. Now, problems with Local Bitcoins, and this could be a similar issue with Wall of Coins. Some of the illegal markets, for example, drug dealing and everything else you can get on the black market, sometimes Bitcoin is being used as a payment, and then the way they're able to cash out is to conduct these local transactions. For example, your drug dealer tells you that you'll pay in Bitcoin. You give the drug dealer the money. The drug dealer gives you give the drug dealer the Bitcoin. They give you the drugs, and then the drug dealer goes to sell the Bitcoin on Local Bitcoin. Now, you can run into some of these things in buying and selling locally on either end. So one of the reasons I've stopped selling on Wall of Coins, and I've stopped selling, or I don't sell on Local Bitcoins, I haven't even tried it, but even when I can see I could easily make 10%, and I could put in 10,000 and make 1,000 profit and put another 10, I did that for a while. But the problem is I don't want to get in the middle of someone else's money laundering scheme without my own knowledge. That would be pretty stupid. And there's court cases and there's stories on the news of people going to jail being involved in money laundering using things like Local Bitcoins, and Wall of Coins might be too new to have got into anything like that. So these can be an issue using something like Local Bitcoins. I hope in presenting all this to you, I've given you a comprehensive look at different ways to buy Bitcoin and sell Bitcoin. And then once you've got Bitcoin, you can easily buy in to everything else on here.